on YouTube. Join the conversation on 0808 17 17 700. Talking Scottish football first.
Good evening. Hearts leave it late with a goal in the last 3 minutes to stay top of the table. 9 points now ahead of the defending champions Celtic and 6 ahead of Rangers. Yep, Celtic have got 2 games in hand, Rangers a game in hand, but they are out on top. Rampaging Hearts didn't play brilliantly last night, but now they're just 12 games away from potentially their first title in 66 years. Well, my 2 guests tonight were nowhere near, not even the grandparents had any thoughts of them in those days. Darren O'Dea, the former Celtic and Ireland star, and Jamie Murphy, former Rangers and currently, of course, Ayr United coach and player. Tonight, it's massive. 6:45, 7:45 kick-off, Celtic against Livy, and then 8 o'clock, Motherwell against Rangers. The other games as well, Dundee United Aberdeen is off, as you heard. Good on United, calling it off early, unlike Aberdeen this time last week. But Falkirk Dundee goes ahead, and Killie against St Mirren 2. Jamie, what did you make of it last night? You know, as a former Rangers player, you were thinking, oh, Hearts are going to slip up, but they did what champions do. They scored right at the end.
Yeah, and credit to them. I mean, tight game, tough game in the derby, big atmosphere. Yeah. They came out on top. It doesn't matter how the game was or how the performance was. I'm sure all they care about is the 3 points.
Darren, what did you think as you watched it then? Were you thinking also from a Celtic point of view, you thought, oh, a slip up here?
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, it's got to that stage of the season. You are watching every game and you're thinking the effects the results are going to have for each team. I think it was clear afterwards. I think Derek McInnes was spot on in his analysis afterwards that I think you hear the phrases that top teams or champions win games when they're not at their best. And Hearts, I wouldn't say they weren't at their best. It just wasn't a great game of football for the purists. But the reality is, when you put in the context of where Hearts are, they're still unbeaten in the league at home. They have played well. They were missing Shankland, Devlin and Halkett, wasn't it?
Halkett as well, suspended.
Arguably your 3 main kind of leadership, if you want to call it that. So I mean, it's a massive win for Hearts, and it puts them in a really good spot.
Big moment for Hearts, of course, the Hibs fans. They had their chances as well. This is Derek McInnes, and my goodness, he enjoyed it, didn't he? He raced down the touchline, lifted up the ball boy. Had he thrown the ball for something earlier on? But he ran down, lifted the ball boy, and he spoke about it afterwards.
But I certainly thought that we'd negated their threats a wee bit better, and then it's all about coming up with a moment, and we come up with a moment. And it's a brilliant desire for Harry Milne. That should be really highlighted. The quality of the cross and the desire from Magnuson to run off his marker and get in the box in such a calm finish. So from that point of view, we've deserved, because we've come up with a big moment to win the game. And it's great that in the context of the season, of course, another 3 points is vitally important, particularly in a game where it looked for long spells that we were only going to get the win.
It did look at, and a draw wouldn't have been the worst, but I think the home advantage, Jamie, was there for them. They've got a good record against the Hibs, and they did it in the game months ago. That right at the end, they scored against the run of play.
Yeah, it's such a tough place to go, Tynecastle. Darren will tell you as well. The crowd are on you, they're shouting things, they're right behind their team. I think that's the biggest thing for it. You know, when you're playing at Tynecastle, the Hearts fans are going to be right behind their team, win, lose or draw. So going there is difficult. It always has been. But to turn it into the fortress they have this year, it's been incredible, really.
12 games to go for them, Darren. I mean, you've never discounted them. You're not. But my goodness, they're getting really close to this upset. I saw Darren McInnes was saying afterwards, we deserve a bit of respect here as well. We didn't play that well, but, we're not the only prospective champions who don't play brilliantly every game.
But yeah, I think if you look across, to the other 2 teams, Celtic, definitely you could say Celtic haven't been at their best at times this season, multiple times, and have come out on the right side of results. I'm talking about more under Martin O'Neill. Rangers under Danny Röhl, particularly early in his reign, weren't playing particularly well and winning games. And I think he just felt, Derek McInnes, that that's what his team is now doing while they're actually missing 3 of their main players. I think he thought my team deserves a bit more respect, which, in fairness, I think they're being given, and they're certainly been taken as credible challengers here because, well, they're in the driving seat. I think my thinking this week's going to be a pivotal week, but I just feel we're probably going to say that next week again. Sure. But I just thought with them playing last night against Hibs, and then they've obviously got a massive game against Rangers at the weekend, if they can come out potentially with 2 wins, it's going to be incredible for what they can do for their confidence.
He can sit back tonight and enjoy life, I would think, Jamie, because it's pretty unrelenting. I see Tony Bloom was up there in the stand as well, watching the guy who put in 10 million during the summer.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting his investment so far, isn't he?
Yep.
He's got them in a title race. No, not saying he's got them in a title race, but he has helped. Derek McInnes has probably got them in the title race. He's been excellent, obviously, for Hearts since he brought in. It was quite clear that's been the correct appointment. There was talk of all sorts of foreigners and everyone come in, but, you know, looking down the road at Kilmarnock and bringing up there has been a masterstroke.
It's going to be some night tonight now, isn't it? Celtic fans will be there. I would think in big numbers against Livy. And your old club, they need the fans, don't they, just now? Because, hey, it was tense at the weekend, you know, in the cup game. But the Martin O'Neill effect, or the players themselves going, and got that with the last touch of the time when Adamu popped up and scored.
Yeah, and they've been... I don't know whether to... Well, I'm definitely admiring the fact that they're winning games, because everyone says, and it's absolutely right, that is what it's all about. Their performance level is not at a level. They're winning a number of games late on, and your worry is one of these times you're not going to get that late goal. Naturally, you're not finishing games off early. But the reality is they are. Martin O'Neill's spell, I can't count the amount of games now. It's 14, 15 games. Well, certainly domestically, he's won every game bar one against Hearts. He drew. So he's getting the results. That's what it's all about. But there's just this feeling at Celtic that they're just not quite there. Where I feel at Rangers, there's momentum got built off the back of the window. Hearts have had momentum really from the start of the window. I just feel something at Celtic is missing, and you think you alluded to it, right? I think it's if you can get that fan base right for the last part of the season, it could be the thing that changes. Yeah,
Celtic can't afford to slip up tonight. You wouldn't expect them against the bottom club in the table, but they won't take them for granted. Celtic on 48 points. It's unfamiliar territory, Jamie, isn't it, when you look at the table? Celtic on 48, Rangers on 51, Hearts on 57. It is remarkable. What are you thinking for Rangers tonight? It's match of the night, isn't it? Motherwell, people say the best team to watch, up against Rangers, who under Danny Röhl are transformed.
I mean, it's going to be a great game of football, I would think. Motherwell at home are such a good, entertaining watch. I know the fans have been praising the manager and their style of football, and rightly so. But their clean sheet record is probably the thing that's got them there. You know, however many clean sheets in a row. It'll be a tough test tonight for both teams. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how Rangers set up. Will they go and press them? Will they sit off them, let them have the ball? I think Rangers will go press. I think they're on a run at the minute that's good. They're performing well. Their new signings seem to have bedded in well as well. I think they'll go after them a little bit and see how they go on.
What do you think? How do you think Rangers will approach tonight?
Yeah, I think the last game I watched them play at Ibrox, Motherwell dominated the ball, albeit Rangers got the result. Motherwell dominated the ball, and it was probably strange to watch any team go to Ibrox and for Rangers not to be the team that kind of were on the front foot. I agree with Jamie. I think tonight it'll be a completely different story. I think Rangers are in a different place, both confidence level, but also they've obviously recruited players. So I actually think it's the makings for a brilliant game, because Motherwell will not change. They will go and play their game. I think Danny Röhl is a manager that's comfortable when the opposition is out of possession. He's obviously grown up in a domain where pressing is a massive part of his makeup. So it is the makings for a brilliant game.
Back to last night's game then. Big win for Hearts. Afterwards, the manager spoke and he praised his players, and he spoke quite at length about that win.
We've all been brought up in generations where successful Rangers teams, successful Celtic teams, particularly late, where they don't always play well, but they win a game, and it's like they move on for it quickly. They just find a way to win a game. It kind of felt a wee bit like that tonight for me, that we've not been great, and there will be games between now and the end of the season where the emphasis will need to play better than that. But we're also, I think, needs to be said, we're without three captains tonight. Devlin, Halkett, Shankland, guys who've played in loads of these types of games. A lot of boys were playing their first kind of this type of fixture and that type of environment, and it's no easy, it's no straightforward that. It's good that we've a lot of new signings have managed to see Tynecastle the way it was at the end, but there will be games, as I say, between now and the end of the season where the emphasis will be on us to show a bit more control, bring more quality of proceedings. But you don't just get to top of the league for this length of time just by having desire and great team spirit. You've got to have some good play in amongst it as well. And tonight wasn't the best day for the night, the type of game for both sets of players to show their quality. Because Hibs are better than what they showed, we're better than what we showed. it's about what else is under the bonnet sometimes, and that was there for us at the end up.
Fair assessment, Jamie?
Absolutely. He's always honest in his assessment of the games, McInnes says. He knows they can play better, but it is all about the points. I think if you told Hearts supporters they weren't going to play well between now and the end of the season, but they'd win most of the games, I think they'd take that. At the minute, I don't think Hearts fans care if it's good football or not. They're all just about the wins. They want to win the league.
What do you think, Jamie? I know you think Rangers, well, when I saw you last week, you can change. Everyone can change at the moment. Normally it's day one of the season, but it's a season like no other. Everyone says it. What do you feel today? Watching Hearts last night, do you think they're going to be champions? Because with 12 games to go, well, you have to seriously consider it.
I'm not going to change fully and say Hearts are definitely going to win it, but it's a big week. I think if Rangers don't go out and win these 2 games, it's going to be really, really difficult for them to catch. Now, Celtic, if they win tonight, maybe a little bit closer. Yep. Obviously, same points as Rangers, but game in hand. I think Sunday's such an important game at Ibrox. If Hearts can win at Ibrox, I think that changes everything.
This is a beach. Who are you watching for? Is it Hearts or is it the Shark that is Celtic? Because of what they've done over the years. I know it's largely a changed team, but they've got that experience. And I know, Darren, that's what you feel. I don't know how you feel tonight.
Oh, no, 100%. And listen, I'm obviously going to speak from a Celtic side of it, so I get that. And in Glasgow, it's very hard to tell people you're trying to see it from both sides, because we get that. But if I was Hearts or Rangers, I'd want Celtic out as quickly as possible. Why wouldn't you? They're the team that have dominated Scottish football for the best part of the last decade. They'd be the ones I'd have my eyes on, even though mathematically they're furthest behind out of the 3. So I just think Celtic are going to be capable at some point of going on a run of winning games, and there's nothing to suggest Rangers and Hearts can't do the exact same. I just think Celtic are going to get better.
Harry's on asking for both of you for your lineup. Not right away, but Jamie, how do you think Rangers will line up tonight? What team will they play against Motherwell? We'll bring you the Rangers and Motherwell team at 6:45, because obviously it's the 8 o'clock game. And we'll have the Celtic lineup. Darren, you're not getting off. They want to know. He wants to know what you think for tonight. You can see us on YouTube as well as listen on Go Radio. And Phil has been on. He thinks it's going to be a 1-1 draw tonight at Fir Park. He says this nonsense with no fans at the game, or not enough fans. I think that's what you mean, Phil. This used to be a game, the Old Firm, the derby. Everyone, including people in England, wanted to see. Who wants to watch this watered-down game now? Hearts Hibs is now a bigger spectacle, and that's what he feels. Darren, what would you say to Phil? So
a bigger spectacle.
He thinks it's bigger than the Old Firm, because there's not the balance of fans. Whereas last night there was a big number of Hibs fans at the game.
Okay.
Yes, I think he's thinking about just watching it on the telly. That Hearts Hibs last night felt like a really, really big local derby.
Yeah, no, it is. I love tuning in to watch Hearts and Hibs. I think you watch some derbies and they feel like, is this really a derby? You know, when you're watching a Hearts Hibs game, it's a proper derby. I totally agree with his point in, I would like to see more fans back in, away fans that been let back into the Rangers Celtic games. But no, I absolutely don't agree with his point that it's a bigger fixture. I don't think there's any fixture that I could think off the top of my head there's a bigger fixture than Rangers Celtic. But I do agree with him with in terms of fans. I do agree.
Jamie?
Yeah, I agree with Dan. I mean, Rangers and Celtic is always going to be the biggest game in Scottish football. I mean, Hibs and Hearts, again, I love watching them. Real derby, real tackles, real fans. But it would take a long time of that. It would take a long time of Hearts and Hibs to be at the top of the table competing against each other to take over Rangers and Celtic, which I don't think is going to happen.
It's famous worldwide, isn't it? There's quite a few comments coming in, despite that we're going to stay on. Mike is on. He's got something for you, Darren, which I'll find in a second or two. 0808 17 17 700 if you want to leave a voice note or give us some comments. Mike says, Darren, where is your evidence that they're going to get better? This is Celtic. They struggled against a junior team and Dundee. So, Mike, I don't know who Mike supports, but it's a fair question.
No, it's an absolutely fair question. I'm assuming the recruitment they've done in the window, we have not seen those players up to speed, if you want to say. Most of them haven't played very many minutes. Some have played some minutes and not looked too great, but you can kind of write that off just now. So I'm assuming the the recruits they had late in the window will improve Celtic quite considerably for the rest of the season. But that is why I'm going off that. There's nothing suggesting it in terms of actual performances. I've said before, the performance level actually concerns me, because these late wins, you're just thinking, can you keep doing that? So I'm assuming these players that they've come in will take them to a different level. Dundee
played so well the other evening, didn't they? I know you've obviously got a big connection with the club there as well. I think they surprised just about everybody, and they kept it up for the whole game. They
were outstanding. For every bit as Celtic weren't at the races they wanted to be, Dundee were fantastic. The boy Ethan Hamilton in the middle of the pitch, I thought was outstanding.
What about that strike?
It's a brilliant strike, but it was his whole level of the game, the way he drove through the middle of the pitch, his composure actually looked. I hadn't known of him. He's 27 years old. I was thinking it was going to be a younger player, but Dundee. I know they're kind of at the bottom, third bottom, and they've been they're in and around that kind of fight. They play some good stuff. And they're a decent side.
Yeah, I mean, Celtic. It was just about Celtic getting through. Yeah. I mean, did they want to play Rangers at Ibrox and as a tie next round? Probably not. But they're a good enough team to go there and win. And the players have got, like Darren said, the new signings coming in, getting ready, getting up to speed. You would expect him to contribute between now and the end of the season.
Yeah. So there's lots of comments coming in. We're looking forward to the games tonight. We're looking back on last night as well. But what does it mean for the big two in Glasgow? Will Rangers rise to it tonight against Motherwell, who've had such an amazing run? You know, the top of the table, Hearts 26 games gone, plus 28, 57 points. Rangers 25 games, plus 24, 51 points. Celtic after 24 games, plus 20, 48 points. So yeah, there's not that much between them goals wise, but you know, Hearts by every matrix are ahead in the plus 28 against Rangers 24, Celtic 20. Where are the goals going to come from? Naderi, you like the look of him? Couple of goals at the weekend. Look, at Queen's Park were just not, it wasn't their day in the way that it was last year. Nothing like it. But what did you make of him, the new striker?
I thought he was very good. I managed to go to the game.
Right.
I was doing a bit of commentary for the telly, so I got a little bit in there. But the best thing about him, I could say, obviously he scored goals and whatever. Every time the ball came in the box, he was close to it. Right. That was the thing that I look for a striker. You know, he knows where the ball's going. He can see, you know, people have this knack of scoring goals. Chris Boyd was obviously brilliant at it. I played with Glenn Murray down south, who was unbelievable at it. He didn't have to play well outside the box, but when the ball came in the box, he was there or thereabouts, and he got so many goals from it. And it kind of seemed like that at the weekend from Naderi. The first goal was a corner, and Queen's Park don't pick him up properly, but the second goal, you can see he's moving, he knows where the cross is going, and he gets ahead on it. So I think Rangers have signed a good player.
Yeah, from the third tier, but we know it's a really good level. But Naderi looks as though it could be nearly 5 million well spent. I know it's early days, but
and they've depth there now, and Ochimitri's not kind of lived up to maybe, well, I don't know if the expectation where it was really, and the price tag seems a big one, but he obviously has picked up a little bit. He scored obviously against Celtic mainly, and then you've Miofsky as well, who's a good player, like especially at the level of the Scottish Premier League. He's proven goal scorer, and I know again he's not maybe hit the heights of that people hope at Rangers, so they've got depth now in that department.
Rangers and Celtic meet in the Cup, as we know. We now know when the game is going to be. It's on the Sunday, 8th of March, and it's a 1 o'clock kick-off for that match. Obviously, the big news, the controversy might be around how many tickets will Celtic get. It should be 20% for the away fans, and that would be 10,000. And I think that might be an issue, because you then have to go into the Sandy Jardine stand. But the Celtic end, as it used to be called, Jamie, as you know, is 7,500. Surely that has to go to the away team. The SFA have said it's up to the clubs themselves to sort it out. Now, it should be in the rule book. I don't know if you agree or not. What do you think is going to happen?
Oh, what do I think is going to happen, or what will happen?
Well, whatever you want. You know, what do you think should happen?
I think they need to come to some sort of agreement. Old Firm games are better when Celtic have behind the goal. Can there be something where Rangers get behind the goal at Parkhead? Would that even things out? I know there's policing and all that. I've been told.
If it was a cup game, then it should be. Yeah, if that's the way the numbers work out. Yeah.
So the two clubs really need to sort it, because sorry, I forget his name, said earlier, he was thinking Hibs and Hearts is a better spectacle just because he watches that on the telly. Now, Rangers and Celtic want the game to be as big as it possibly can be, and if having crowds from both sides in there helps that, then that's what should be done.
What are they worried about? And I would say the same to Celtic if it's the other way around. Football, entertainment, let the fans in. And if the rule book says 20%, make it 20%. Or, if it doesn't quite work out, I get it because of the configuration. But there's a solution, 7,500 at that end of the ground. Just give it at the Broomlawn stand.
Yeah, I mean, Rangers have moved fans to prepare for this kind of thing happening. Whether they do it or not, I don't know. I feel like they might get the corner and an extended bit of the Broomlawn. I don't know if they'll get the full thing. I know that's probably what Celtic want. But again, this is for the two clubs to decide. And hopefully it's an agreement and hopefully it's sorted pretty quickly. Darren,
what would you do? I know it's difficult. We can't decide here.
It's not difficult. It's not difficult. You've got two clubs that are as big a rivalry as is known in world football. Why are you allowing the two clubs to decide? Put a rule in place, 20%, and it goes, and it doesn't matter where the game is at, as long as you said, I do understand your point, which I totally would be open to, is if it fits into the safety of the fans, which is the most important thing. But this thing of negotiating, if it is open, I can understand Rangers wanting more of their own supporters in the ground. I totally get it. Likewise, I would expect Celtic board to have more Celtic fans in. It shouldn't be their option. It should be, this is the rule and this is the amount of tickets you're giving away. End of story. But of course, the SFA palmed off to the two clubs to deal with it. And why would you expect them to come to a resolution? They're not exactly best friends.
That's true. The SFA should
just tell them this is the rule. And by the way, it doesn't matter. It's not Celtic Rangers. It's everything.
Exactly, because you can't expect. You both make great points as well. Because it's difficult for you, but it shouldn't be difficult. It's easy. What's the rule book? A bit of give and take. If it's about 1,000 or two because of the configuration of a ground, I get it. But what you said, Jamie, as well. You'd expect if it was at Celtic Park, then if the draw had come out that way, then Celtic should be giving 20%, because that's more than 10,000 at Celtic Park. They should work it out so that there's a good representation. And I'd say the same. What is it, Celtic? What are you fearing? You're not fearing. Rangers wouldn't be fearing. Get the opposition fans in as well and respect the paying customers in Scottish football. Well, tonight it's a massive game, massive card coming up. Dundee United against Aberdeen is off, but the rest are all on. We're back after this.
Radio Football Show with Burger King.
Yeah, we're looking forward to the games tonight. We're looking back at last night as well. Hearts winning the derby there and another 3 points, only 3 defeats all season. Jimmy's been on saying, Darren, Celtic have had 6 defeats all season. Hearts only 3. Your old team, they can't afford to lose any more games in the run-in.
No, but they definitely can't afford to lose the next two, playing the two bottom teams in the league, Livingston and Kilmarnock. Especially because Rangers and Hearts meet at the weekend, and obviously Rangers have a very difficult tie tonight. So I think Celtic, as I said, Celtic are going to need to be very, very consistent and foot perfect from now to the end of the season if they're going to go on and win it.
Danny Röhl looking forward to the game tonight against Motherwell, who are also on a roll themselves, playing really, really well, 4th top of the table.
At first it showed that they're doing an outstanding job there. I think the manager is doing a good job there, the group doing a good job there. It's a tough place. I think also the home game here was a game with a lot of chances on both sides. Both teams play with intensity, both teams try something in the game. We know what we expect in this game. And for us it's the next big challenge on a tough place. I think in the last couple of weeks we were always ready for this challenge, and we took always good results from these big games. And tomorrow is the next step. We go there with confidence, with ambitions, and we have to do a lot of things right tomorrow to win such a game.
Jamie, he'll go with a really strong team tonight. He's got competition for places. If you were the manager, who would you be starting tonight against Motherwell?
First thing, they've got a lot of strength and depth now, Rangers. See, when you look at the team, there's options all over the park. But I think probably we'll go with Butland in goals. Tav, Fernandes, Shooter, and I think he'll go for Romans at left back.
You like the look of him?
I did. He looks comfortable on the ball. He's comfortable going forward. Magoma's done well when he's played, but I think he gives you that experience in there, Romans. I think in the middle, Raskin will come back in. Chukwueze strolled the game at the weekend, so I can imagine him being in there. I also think he'll put Diamandi in there as like a number 10. He went 4-4-2 at the weekend, but I don't know if he'll do that away at Motherwell. So the three of them in there, which is a strong three. I think he'll keep Skov Olsen out wide right. I think he'll probably bring Gassama in, only because I know he didn't play in the game at the weekend. I don't know if they were keeping him or whatever, so he didn't play any part. So I think he'll come back in, and I think he'll stick with Nadiri up front.
Nadiri, so Chermiti, who's back, Fernandes available, you mentioned him, but Chermiti, you reckon, on the bench? Yeah,
I think so. I mean, there's a chance he could leave out Diamandi and go 4-4-2 like he did at the weekend, but I think to start with, he'll go 4-2-3-1.
He spoke last night then about the squad update, injuries, etc.
Everyone is available except from, I think Max will be not available for this game, but all the other players are available. This is a good part. I have to make then some decisions for tomorrow. Who starts, who finished the game. I think this is also crucial, and it helps, I think, not just me to have these options. I think that's also learning from my group. That means not when you are not started, you're not important. It is important for the group to have this impact from the bench, and I think we have now tomorrow a game, then we have on the weekend a big game, and I always try to take the games as a single game, but then of course my responsibilities as well, who's maybe a good fit for which opponent, and I have two clear ideas for both games, but you never know in football if it's also possible then.
Darren, managers don't often mention the next game, but he was really open there that he is thinking about the Hearts game as well as Motherwell tonight.
Yeah, well, believe it or not, managers don't tell you a large portion of what they're thinking. Yeah. I think they have to say, and they've said it, certainly in my lifetime, I've never heard a manager say, it's always the next game. The reality is, a manager, you're always planning for, certainly if it's 2 games in 1 week, so he always have an eye. You just don't rarely hear them speak about it. So honestly, I suppose, so can't criticise him too much for that. For
Motherwell, Katrumbas, he's out, a calf injury. They're still checking on the fitness of Charles Cook and Watt, and I suspect that at least one of them might make it, because they've got a really good squad, but not the squad in depth like Rangers.
No, and I think Watt in particular will be a big miss if he isn't playing. He's obviously been linked with moves away because he's done so well. He's a big part of their team and how they play, taking the ball from the back and from the goalkeeper, so he would be a big miss for them if he's not available. Yeah,
and that's a good point, Darren, that they held on to Maswanisi, for example. There was interest for him, 18 goals this season.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, I think Motherwell have done well in these, and they've stood strong with the different prospects they've had. Obviously Lennon Miller been the last one, David Turnbull they got a decent return for, so they'll stay strong. Motherwell, they'll stay strong, and they'll get I'm assuming he will move on at some point in the next 6 to 12 months. They'll get a good price for him because they deserve it. And I think the strength of Scottish clubs in general now to hold out and get what they're worth, certainly Motherwell have been a kind of trailblazer in doing that.
And David Turnbull, of course, came from Motherwell. He was a big signing for Celtic. Did you come across him when you were down at Swansea? You must have.
No, because Cardiff obviously in League One.
I know. I thought maybe. I mean, and it was people say Scotland. Do you know so and so?
No, yeah.
Come on, help me out. Did you not see him at something?
I'm trying to think off the top of my head. No, they were in League One.
I know they've gone down.
He's well, they're doing well. I'm assuming next year he'll be back in the Championship
for sure. Motherwell over the years have produced so many great players, not least Lennon Miller just last year, and David Turnbull a few years ago, and it's brilliant for the club. It's amazing that they can say, no, we're not going to take, they're not going to give away Maswanisi. I don't know what the money was, but they held out, I think, for a sum that other clubs just didn't want to pay.
Yeah, and they'll be hoping that he performs well between now and the end of the season, and then the option's still there if you really want the money to sell him then, after hopefully he's led them to European places, which I think he will.
Celtic fans, are they going to see Oxlade Chamberlain play tonight? Martin O'Neill has him, signed him finally on Saturday. What do you make of it? I haven't seen you, Darren, since he signed it. Signed it? He signed it at the weekend. What are you thinking? What did you think?
Listen, I'm I'm waiting to see him. I think, first of all, I think he'll play tonight, but I don't think he'll start.
Okay.
I think he'll come off the bench and he'll get some sort of minutes. Listen, we're talking about top level football here, but there's an asterisk on it, because why is he here? Why is he on a free? And these questions will get asked until he kicks a ball for Celtic. So we might find out very quickly tonight that Celtic have just landed on an absolute gem, or you might be coming away thinking he's not quite the same as he was, which I wouldn't write him off because of that, because listen, he's not played loads of football, but certainly if he is at 80 to 85% capacity of what he was capable of, he's a top player.
Martin O'Neill spoke about him yesterday.
He's doing fine, really fine. Yeah, he trained yesterday and today, so he's looking pretty good. You will have a little look at that later on today. I haven't picked the squad yet, but there's a possibility of that.
Jamie, doesn't do any harm, does it? Another big name from English football coming here. As Darren says, let's see what happens, but it's a good headline.
It is, and it gets more eyes on Scottish football, which is great for everyone. Like Darren said, if he goes, I'm sure he's not got the same dynamism about him. He's not going to move the same as he was when he was younger. I get that, but these players all think with their head, with the ball. They know what the next pass is. They can see players coming, and you're hoping that's the player that Celtic get. I wouldn't expect Celtic fans to watch him and think, oh, get on the ball, take it past 2 or 3 and score. That won't be his game. His game will be getting on the ball, dictating play. Not like Callum McGregor, will be a bit further forward, but you're hoping he brings that quality of the game when they need it.
What does Liam Scales think of the signing of Oxlade Chamberlain?
Yeah, he looks brilliant, really sharp. You can tell, that he's played at the highest level, and his technical ability and just how he moves. You can tell that. You can see why he's played for clubs like Arsenal and Liverpool, and played for England. He's a top player. It's
quite a schedule that's coming up for everyone, probably especially Celtic, with the Aberdeen game going off late last week, just a week ago. It seems ages in some way, doesn't it? Yeah. With everything that's going on, and the window closed. I know it closed just before it. Then the cup at the weekend. So Martin O'Neill spoke about this busy schedule.
Well, I think that for instance, whatever the draw happens to be, that's fine. I thought that my own view is that I thought the Aberdeen fixture was stuck in there very, very quickly. I can understand the SPL saying that they want to get X number of weeks. What they don't want to do is they don't want to have some postponements going into the split. I think that was the reason for it. But it was, that I think was something that they could have been considered, really, at the end of it all, because it did mean an awful lot of away travelling. But for fans who, obviously, it's going to be difficult to afford those particular fixtures. But in terms of what happened with Stuttgart, in terms of what happened with the Scottish Cup, that's the nature of the draw.
What do you say on it that hasn't been asked or said before? You want to play games of football, you want to be in European football, you want to be in cup football. But Darren, what do you feel about the schedule for Celtic? Is it 5 games in 24 days?
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. I think I wouldn't be moaning about it too much. Yeah, I think it's, and I don't think Celtic will be. I don't think the players will be. Of course, Martin been at the front and centre. He's always going to kind of back his club. But the reality is, Celtic have been doing this for years. That's not going to be the reason they can't be successful. Albeit it is a kind of heavy fixture list in terms of the away games. Talking about travel, 2 of them are against Rangers, so don't have to go too far. I get it, Stuttgart, Aberdeen. Sure. It's a very, very difficult schedule, but it won't be the reason Celtic won't be as successful.
That's a good point, throwing that in. Dry your eyes. 2 of the games are in Glasgow and Govan.
The emotional toll of being away from home.
Right, exactly.
I'm more meaning from the fans' point of view. Like, it would have been dreadful if they were Aberdeen and Edinburgh, but 2 of them at least are across the road.
The trouble with this boy is that all his brains are in his head. It was an old
That's
football
the first
manager.
time anyone's ever said that.
A manager, Eddie Turnbull, said that to Alan Gordon, who was a striker at Hibs, the late, both of them, and he said, that's the trouble with you, son, all your brains are in your head. He was good. It's not a bad line. Yeah. Jamie, for Rangers, what are you thinking tonight? You gave us your team line-up there. James Tavernier's name's come up again. I mean, scoring a hat-trick at the weekend. Would you give him another contract then? I think he's out of contract in the summer.
Yeah, I think Rangers would be stupid not to look at it. The amount of goals he's scored and assists he's had, and availability, I think, is a big thing. Like, you can sign another right back and he can play but Tav will always be fit. It seems to be the way it is. I mean, touching wood here
Sure.
for him, but he's always available, whether that's to come off the bench, to start the game, if they need a goal. It's a strange thing to say, innit? If you need a goal, you're sending the right back on.
Sure.
But that is what would happen if he was on the bench. So I think it's something Rangers will certainly be looking at.
And lethal from the penalty spot, usually.
Usually, yeah. I mean, there's a whole thing to be said about, does Tav want to stay? Has he been here long enough? Does he want to go and see another part of the world? Or obviously he's English, to go back down the road. There's a lot to be said, but if they don't have a conversation, then I think that's pretty stupid.
Why would you want to leave here, Jamie? He was your captain then? Yes, when you...
He was.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's he like?
Yeah, he's a good guy. I think first and foremost, I think that's what you want for your teammates. But again, he trained his hardest all the time. He was in the gym all the time. He had fun when the fun was to be had, but he was serious when obviously that was to be the case as well. So you can see why he's the captain. Obviously Gerrard made him the captain when we were there, and he's went on obviously to better things. But yeah, I think first and foremost you have to be a likeable person to be at that club that long.
Darren, you've come up against him many times.
Yeah.
I know you've got a great respect for him because he's not had it easy at Rangers. The expectation and that title, which you got in 2021, you got a cup. Then the following year, they went all the way to the final, the League Cup as well, I think. But it's not been easy. But he's kind of in a purple patch just now. Do you feel that way? He's getting more praise and maybe people appreciate him more?
Yeah, I just think when you are at a club with the scrutiny Rangers are under for long enough, you'll go through peaks and troughs all the time. It's just natural, and it probably feels like he takes an awful lot of hits, if you want to call that. But the reality is, when you are one of the main players, which he is and has been, not only just as a player but a captain of the club, when things don't go right, you're invariably the first that gets it, and that kind of is a... I'm sure he wouldn't thank people for it, but it's kind of a compliment when you're when you're one of the main guys in a club. You're going to take the most hits. And Rangers, obviously, in the last number of years, since he's been there, they've not won enough silverware, if you want to call that obvious for Rangers levels. They've not won enough silverware. But I mean, as a player, I would be amazed if Rangers let him go, particularly with the amount of turnover of players they have at the minute. In the last two windows, you'd imagine in the summer window, they'll go again. You need people in your building in the Glasgow clubs that understand the club, understand the environment, and there's no better person for Rangers at the minute that understands what the good times look like at Rangers, but also what the difficult times look like.
Who says deputy for penalties, Jamie? Do you know?
Oh, I'm sure there'll be a few that put their name forward, whether they get it or not, I'm not sure.
He scores so many. We're back after this.
The Go Radio Football Show with Burger King.
Darren O'Dea is with me tonight, and Jamie Murphy. Darren, there's a job going in management.
Is there?
In London, of course. Thomas Frank away today. Can you tell the Go Radio audience with Burger King a whopper on a Wednesday? Could it be for you?
Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely.
It's some job, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big job. I think they're now in a position that I feel like loads of clubs, Celtic are in that position, Man United have been in the position, they probably need an interim to get to the summer. There's talk of Pochettino, there's talk of
course,
different
the USA.
USA, so then it's the World Cup, and so it feels like Tottenham probably will go down. It might be a route they want to go down, but they might go down a route of just putting, I don't want to say stopgap because that's disrespectful to whoever goes in, but that is the kind of the way I think they'll end up going. So a big job though.
Yeah,
they shouldn't have got rid of Ange.
Well, that was exactly what I was about to say.
They shouldn't have. It was. I understood the pressures they were under, but you cannot win a European title for the first time, whenever it was. I just think you needed to see through it and understand it, and I don't think you're in this position now.
And why didn't he? I saw it on social media, Jamie, the other day, you know, when they were parading the trophy in London just in the summer there. And he said, do you remember, he went up to the mic and he said, remember, like all the good things, season 3 is the best. And he delivered. I mean, against all odds, he said, you know, second season, I always win something. And everyone, the English media were just waiting to pounce. And the big Aussie, he did it. He won something, a European trophy.
He did. He spoke it into existence. He backed it up. He got them there and he won the game. I mean, did they win it the way he probably wanted these teams to play? No, but again, he won the game. Now, should he have been allowed more time to get his team back to where he wanted it? I 100% think he should. I find it disappointing when you see a manager who obviously done well at Celtic but has a particular style of football and it's exciting and people want to see it. and then they get rid of them. I think it's not going to change. Managers are not going to stay for longer just because that's what we think. But it is disappointing when a manager loses his job, particularly when you enjoy watching a team play.
I think Ange is back. He's out right away, isn't he, on the big podcast?
Someone said he was on the overlap.
On the overlap, of course, yeah.
So yeah, that'll be interesting.
There are other podcasts, not just ours, available wherever you get yours, the Go Radio Football Show. But for Ange, I mean, yesterday wasn't a headline, but they were saying who'll be Celtic's manager next season, and José Mourinho hasn't ruled it out. Well, José doesn't rule out. He came, as you know, just a year ago, playing Rangers, and he was asked, well, will you come to Glasgow? Could you be at Ibrox? Obviously, Barry was the interim manager at that point, so he doesn't say no, does he?
No, he doesn't. Obviously, world-class manager. It'd be brilliant if you got a manager like him in the league, whether he does or not, or whether he was just being nice. I'm not sure.
Can you imagine him and Dermot Desmond? What's going to happen? How that one ends? Because it always does end, doesn't it? With José, at the beginning it's great, and listen, he wins so many trophies. He's a serial winner. José Mourinho.
You're talking a generational manager. I'm uncomfortable talking about someone of that ilk coming to Scottish football. Could it happen? I mean, of course, he's at a level in his career where he maybe just fancies something different. But at the moment, it would certainly feel like a bit pie in the sky.
Billy's on. He's a big Rangers fan. He's off and on. Thanks for coming on, Billy. And he wants to ask you both, do you think Steven Gerrard will be back at some point in top flight in English football? He came close to getting the Rangers job, but it didn't happen. He felt the timing wasn't right. I don't know if that was the tax thing because of the Middle East. He'd been over there, and listen, if you're on that kind of money. But do you think he will come back then? I heard some people talking a few weeks when they're talking about Liverpool in the future. It's a tough time for them just now, and his name's beginning to come up again. Jamie, what do you think? You played under him.
I think he will come back and be a manager, whether it's at Rangers or not. I'm not sure. I think if he really wanted to come back to Rangers, he'd probably came there. I know there's maybe reasons why he couldn't do it, but yeah, I think you will see him as a manager. Whether I don't think it'll be in Scotland. Put it that way. I think he'll probably be looking down Spain.
And I think Billy meant more in England. How good do you think Steven Gerrard is? Because you often give us a little insight what he was like. I mean, it was. Yeah, he got time like nobody else would get. Well, it was season 3, and he delivered, absolutely. 25 points clear for Rangers that season. And then he went to Villa. Didn't go well for him. Did some good things. He made John McGinn the captain, Scotland's vice-captain, but it just didn't work out. Could you see him doing it again at the top flight in England?
I'm not sure he goes straight into the top flight. Okay. I feel like, he'll get maybe an upcoming team. I don't know, maybe people seem to be going to Birmingham. They're throwing a bit of money around. Right. A team like that, a big club in the Championship, and really push them on. Like you look at what Frank Lampard, it's always weird to compare Lampard and Gerrard, as everyone always has. Yeah. But you look at Frank Lampard, who was unsuccessful at Chelsea, Everton, and has went down, and he's doing unbelievable with Coventry at the top of the Championship. So you could see him doing that role.
But how good is he? Sorry, just to get an insight for the Go Radio audience, because you've got a unique look at what he was like.
Yeah, what he done straight away was increase the standards. I think that's something that he does, and I think that's just him as a person. He has high standards. He played at a high level, and he wants you to play at a high level. So straight away, professionalism, everything went up, everything was done properly, there was no shortcuts, and just he took his teams how he played his career. That's what it seemed like to me. Obviously, there's the air of Steven Gerrard when he walks in a room. You're very well aware that that's Steven Gerrard that walks into the room, and there's only so many people that have that in world football. So you immediately get that if you hire him as a manager.
Was there a wee bit of starstruck in the room when he walked in? He went, "Oh, it's Jamie Murphy." Was he a bit starstruck
I was just happy he knew my name. That was good. That was a good start.
He's some name in football, isn't he?
I think what he got right at Rangers was he was the manager. He was the face of it. He clearly knew how to handle a big club, handle the media side of it, handle the scrutiny of it, and then had a staff around him. I know it's well documented. Michael Beale and Jamie will know that, but there was good staff around him. Gary McAllister, a good kind of influence on him, someone he would have trusted. And you're talking about standards. Jamie again will know because he was there, but not just the players, the whole club in itself will have been held to a standard, and that's what someone of that ilk can do, and that's sometimes the difference.
Like the training ground and all that, I think was revolutionised. And actually, Brendan Rodgers did the same thing when he came in the first time.
Brendan was when he came in the door, the standards of everything changed. And when people wonder, what does that mean, standards? Like, Brendan changed the office spaces, things that you weren't broken, you wouldn't naturally think of doing or changing. For him, he'd seen what Liverpool looked like. He'd seen the elite. So he was like, no, this isn't good enough, whether it be the grass coming in on the drive up to Lennoxtown. He would always be on those little things. The things that you think don't matter, the people of that ilk matter, because everything matters. And ultimately that's what happens, and it just starts reverberating around the club.
And that's what people say in business. It all matters.
It does. I mean, even little things like he changed the food, he changed the gym that Rangers have now. Even little things in terms of Murray Park wasn't an old training ground when I was there, but it could have done with a little.
Is it tired?
Glow up, as you say, like And as soon as he came in, you know, murals on the wall of Rangers winning and quotes from Richard Gaw, all these kind of players, like things like that.
He introduced that. Yeah,
I'm not sure it's all him, but I'm sure he has the final say on things that we need this, we need this, we need a place so that the boys can get ready for training here. We need a cryotherapy chamber, which ended up coming in. There was loads of things that he is the face, like Dan said, he's the face of it all. It's all coming back to him, and that's how things changed.
I heard the thing when he was at Rangers, his mantra was he wanted to take every excuse away. And I think that's a good way of putting with some of these managers. They push for the players to get the highest level of treatment. So essentially they can then just put it onto the player and say, you have got everything you need here. It's over to you now to perform.
Cryotherapy, that's not about crying, is it? It's not about greeting.
No, it's way worse than that.
I know. Where are they going to put the Martin O'Neill statue? That's a question for you after the news. If Celtic win the title, Jockstein's up there. Martin O'Neill would have to go up as well, surely, if he can pull this out the bag. But we'll talk about that after the news. And then we're going to bring you the team news as well, because it's going to be some night tonight. Remember, Hearts are out in front. They're on 57 points. Rangers on 51. They play tonight against Motherwell. Celtic play tonight against Livy on 48. No room for slip-ups. The news is next.
The Go Radio Football Show with Burger King. Watch live at 5 p.m. weekdays on YouTube. Join the conversation on 0808 17 17 700. Talking Scottish football first.
It's game day. Celtic against Livingston, 7:45. Dundee United Aberdeen is off because of the weather. Falkirk against Dundee is on. Killie against St Mirren also on. We'll talk about both of those games shortly. And Motherwell against Rangers, 8 o'clock tonight on Sky. I found the Hearts Hibs last night, Jamie, on Premier Sports. So I think they could all advertise it a bit more, because you sit down to watch, you think, where is it? But yeah, it was on last night, and it was the late show for Hearts. Thomas Magnuson scoring in the 87th, 88th minute.
Late on anyway.
And Hearts, it was indeed. So that's what champions do. Are they going to be the champions of Scotland? 57 points. Well, Rangers are going to have something to say about that tonight at Motherwell. Maybe their biggest test so far, and ahead of the Hearts game at the weekend, and then the Celtic games coming up soon. And what about Celtic against bottom of the table Livy? Because they found it tough against Dundee at the weekend, but they found a way to win. And what about that Killie St Mirren game? There's a bit of an edge there, Darren, as well, isn't there? You know, Killie really need the points. They did well a couple of weeks ago, not so well then at their next game against Rangers. And St Mirren also need points to get away from the wrong end of the table.
Yeah, St Mirren, I'm just looking at here, and it's actually starting. They've only scored 18 goals. There's lower scores in the league, which you don't need to look too much further to see why they're down there. You just feel with St Mirren, because of the job Stephen Robinson has done, and for the past 3 years, they've always been in the top 6. You do feel they'll get away from it eventually, but the longer the season goes on and you stay in and around it, of course, it's going to become very nervous for the St Mirren fans. But I do feel they'll have more than enough to kind of get away from that. Kilmarnock, on the other hand, will obviously have a much bigger challenge on their hands to try get out of that second bottom position.
Well, indeed. Well, the team news in about 25 minutes on the Go Radio Football Show with Burger King. Paul Cooney, Jamie Murphy and Darren O'Dea. Let's hear from the managers ahead of the games tonight. Celtic against Livingston. Here's Martin O'Neill.
Yeah, absolutely. He's stepped in there, and
talking about Marvin Bartley, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. He's stepped in there, and I just think it's a difficult game for us anyway. And it's not just the matter of saying it; it is absolutely. It's just that I like our team. I thought we showed plenty of character to fight back there on Saturday evening. It was really great. But you know, we're. I don't think we're capable of taking anybody lightly. I don't think we've got. Well, if we do, we shouldn't be doing it because we haven't. We're not good enough to treat people lightly.
Darren, ahead of getting your team tonight, if you were the manager, here's the update on Kieran Tierney.
Kieran, as you know, came off with suspected concussion, but I think he broke a bone in his nose. So he's okay. He's all right, and I think he wants to be available.
So, Darren, what do you think the Celtic team will be tonight?
Just off the back of what Martin's saying, you'd imagine Sriracha will come in, Scales, Trusty, Araujo. The midfield is where I don't necessarily think. I think he'll play with Callum McGregor, Negron, and Engels the way he has. But I think I'd like to see them get the same tune out of Hatate they did in his first stint. Hatate is absolutely a Celtic career dwindling, and he's on his game. He is arguably Celtic's most creative player, arguably Celtic's best player. And I just feel when Martin first came in, they clearly got a difference in him. This time, not quite. So I don't know, with the game tonight, Livingston, you'd imagine a lot of the ball breaking Livingston down. I think it would really benefit Celtic clearly if they could get Hatate back up and running, because he's really not performing at the minute. So him, and then I think they'll go with Tynecastle, Maeda potentially to the right, but it's the both of them want to play off the left. For me, Tynecastle cannot play off the right; he has to play off the left. And I think Franchara will start, but obviously now with Celtic, they have a bit of depth in the bench.
What do you reckon of that team? Just looking at some of them there, and the Hatate one is it's a difficult one, isn't it, to find out how he's going to get the best out of him, because he did when he was here in October, November, early December. He
did. It was arguably the best part of his Celtic career, definitely under Martin O'Neill. But you look at that team there, and that is a team capable of doing well, doing really well and pushing Hearts, Rangers right to the end and a chance of winning it. Now, will they do that? I'm not sure, but if you're looking at that team on paper, that is a good team, and I think you're obviously expecting them to go out and beat Livingston. But that team could go out and go on a good run, and I know they've got tough fixtures coming up with a lot of away games, but you wouldn't put it past them at going out and winning those games.
If Celtic lost it tonight, it would almost be over. Darren, you may well come right back at me.
No. I think I'm going off the assumption that it's going to be Celtic will make ground on either Hearts or Rangers after this week, just because the two teams are playing against each other, and you've got to go off the assumption Celtic win both games and pick up maximum points, but. Yeah, it would be a disaster to drop any points, let alone lose, to drop any points in these next two games.
It's so tight. Last night in that seat, Peter Grant was saying, look, if Hibs win last night, so that would have been Hearts would have stayed where they were, and if Rangers slip up, then they're going to slip up between each other somehow, and Celtic playing tonight, and then before Rangers on Sunday, he said they could actually be right up there. So it can change so quickly. Gregory's on just now. He's watching on YouTube, and he said his Celtic team would be Casper, he said, in goals. He's got Sriracha in as well, Liam Scales, Austin Trusty and Araujo. He's got Negron, Callum McGregor and Engels, and he's gone for Yang and Tynecastle with Adamu. He's starting with him, so who knows. But if you're Javanchara, you'd be saying as well, hey, Gaffer, I scored last week.
Yeah, it's just Adamu came off the bench, massive impact with his goal. That team could well be the team. I think Yang would be. It would be hard on Yang to be left out. I think he's been a kind of consistent performer for Celtic. I just think guys in my aid I don't know. But no, I can't really argue with that team.
Martin O'Neill, we'll hear more from him shortly. Liam Scales was asked about this run now of games. I think he was saying, look, if you're playing at Celtic, you expect to be playing in loads of games.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been like this previously this year. We've had midweek games one after the other, and the schedule is always difficult. So I don't think much has changed. I think the nature of the fixtures, we've a few away games in a row. We're going to be travelling a bit, but we're used to that now. So it's we'll be capable of managing that. It won't be a problem.
Still no word on the ticket allocation. We know the game is going to be 1:00 on the 8th of March. So many games. Thank you for helping me with that one. Martin O'Neill spoke about the draw coming out of the hat. He was watching.
Well, I kind of guessed it, really. I told the lads, really, that it was either Rangers away or Dunfermline. Would have got Lenny. So there we are. Tough, yes. obviously a tough fixture for us. That's about 4 games in about 10 days, but it is what it is.
What's his take on the ticket allocation?
No, I don't. But I don't know the club stance. But if you take me out of the club at this minute, if just being a Celtic supporter, I would want all the tickets that we can get with the allocation that's available to us under the rules, and I assume that would be forthcoming. Yeah.
And I think he then said certainly that end of the ground used to be known as the Celtic end, the Broomlawn Road stand. He said a bit more about the allocation.
Well, I think I've been saying this perhaps not since I've arrived back this time, but I thought that the Old Firm fixture lost a little bit in the sense that the full allocation was not given eventually for whatever reason, and I don't know historically what it was, got a kind of an idea, but it doesn't really matter. And but I think that did lose a little bit of its one of the real great fixtures in European football, if not the world, and I thought it lost that. But at least there's some fans coming back, and it makes a bit of a difference. But to get the full allocation, as we did, going to Ibrox and having the side to the left full of Celtic fans was always gratifying.
It won't be on their mind tonight, though, Darren. You've just got to think about Livy and nothing else.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And Celtic, I think Martin rightly so alluded to, they cannot take any game lightly at the minute because every point now is a prisoner for them. They're going to need to really, really, I won't say win every game because there will be drop points, I'm sure, until the end of the season, but they're going to need to win the vast majority, and certainly playing the bottom of the league at home. It has to be 3 points, but nothing less.
Good moment to take this one, which has just come in. Ross is on WhatsApp saying, "All right, troops, quick question. In my opinion, tonight, this is for Rangers, it's harder away at Motherwell than Sunday at home to Hearts. What do the guys think about it?" Jamie Murphy.
I think that's a fair comment. Yeah. I think they're two completely different types of teams. Obviously, one's home, one's away. Hearts, maybe they're not a direct team, but they're more direct than Motherwell. Motherwell have a particular way of playing, and they can be the most difficult games to prepare for because you want to get after it. Sometimes you want to win the ball back, and then 1, 2, 3 passes around you, and they're attacking you. So Rangers would have to put a lot more tactical effort into the game tonight than Sunday, I would think.
Really? More tactical effort?
There'll be a lot more thought.
Yeah.
Danny Röhl, I'm sure, knows what he's doing. I'm sure they will prepare a lot more. Not in that sense, but some games you know how teams play. You know you've got to be up for the fight. You know they're maybe going to go long at a certain point. You can find that. But Motherwell, they're very particular on how they play. Rangers have looked at it, they've worked on it, and they'll hopefully put a plan in place that means they're going to win the game. With Hearts at home, Rangers are expected to go out and win the game. I think that's fair to say. Rangers at home, I think, is expected to go out and beat anyone in Scotland. Same for Celtic. Hearts getting to that same point as well now, where they expect to win their home games. But an away game at Fir Park, it's a tough game.
Is it quite an open game tonight?
Yeah. Actually, it's interesting listening to Jamie. He actually describes it really well, and maybe even from a footballer's perspective. I think if you were playing in these games, you would be going in as a Rangers player. We're talking about tonight, thinking you're going to need to use your head here. You're going to need to be very in tune with your teammates of where they are, your triggers to press, the distances between you all, the kind of communication that goes in with it, the tactical element to it, if you want to call that. Where you get the sense of then come back at Ibrox against Hearts, it's more you're getting physically prepared for a fight, if you want to call it, but it's going to be a physical game where you're going to have to really defend and be really aggressive with your duels and different things. So be two completely different games. I fancy Rangers tonight because I think they're a completely different animal than what faced Motherwell the last time. I think the way Danny Röhl, in my opinion, Jamie will watch a hell of a lot more Rangers than me. I just think he's at his best as a coach when he's coaching the team out of possession, and I think he likes it and enjoys it. And I think the chances Rangers might create tonight will be off the back winning the ball back and transitioning quick on Motherwell.
Yeah, really fair to say. I think Darren alluded to that earlier. German coach.
Yeah.
German's well known for pressing. I think everyone in Europe knows that when you play a team from Germany, you're going to get pressed. That's why there's loads of goals in the Bundesliga. I always think sometimes that's why players from the Bundesliga don't do as well in other countries, because they all play the same way in Germany. They all press. So him being with the Germany national team, you look at the Barcelona manager Hansi Flick, they press the life out of teams. So I feel like he's always got that in his head, and I'm not saying he will do that tonight. That's just what I think he'll do tonight.
Caroline's on asking Jamie, when are you going to be back? She's an Ayr United fan. She's missing you. It's not Scott Brown saying it. It's not Scott Brown.
Hopefully soon. Got a little nick in my groin, so we just need to take our time on it and not rush back at the big end of the season. Not rushing up for this weekend at Arbroath, because I don't think that would be the game to come back to. In the sense of, I'm thinking of the weather up there. I'm always pushing to get back, whether I'm allowed to train or not. That's probably not up to me.
Good diplomatic answer. I mean, if you were his manager, you'd say, well done.
I'd say I'm not going to Arbroath. It's actually a win machine.
Did you? You must have played there, did you?
As I said, I think more in friendlies with Dundee, but actually when I was coaching up there, we played a number of reserve kind of games up there. My God. Yeah, it's windy at the best of times. Yeah. A player I used to play with said he was taking a corner and he got hit by a wave. That's how I describe it.
If you've not been there, you should go up, actually. What am I saying? The weather's not so good just now, and it hasn't stopped raining. Certainly in the north of the country. I was in Aberdeenshire the other day. Nice. I saw former Rangers goalkeeper Nicky Walker before your time, but Nicky, former Leicester City, Rangers and Motherwell. And then he was up at Aberdeen, wasn't he? And he was at Ross County. So Walker's shortbread. So it was great to see him, but way up there at Aberlour. But still talking about football and still loves it. It never leaves you, does it? The football, the bug. Even though he's running that multi-million-pound company, but we're reminiscing about some of the days when they used to come to the Cash for Kids lunch, the Rangers players and the Celtic players after training. Could you imagine that these days, being allowed to come into the lunch there in the Hilton? No, I can't. It's the amount of kind of security loops you have to go through these days, but no, it's nice to hear. Somebody who was there was Mark Wilson, who is, of course, the Partick Thistle manager and the manager of the month. So well done to Mark. Good news for him, Darren, isn't it? Yeah, what a job. Yeah. He's done brilliantly, and obviously off the back of last season, and was it Brian Graham was potentially going to get it, and then there was is it Ian Barraclough? Did he go in as sports director? So there was a load of different kind of things going on, and Mark, it nearly felt like the job landed into Mark's lap a little bit, and he wasn't quite I don't say number one pick, but they clearly looked elsewhere, and my God, just as well they didn't, because he's done an absolutely brilliant job, and they play. I've watched a number of their games. They play some good stuff. Partick, he's got some really good players, and I mean they're really, really. I thought at the start of the season they were on a run. Now it's they're there for the full hog now. So come the end of the season they'll be thereabouts. And Jamie, a good choice. Listen, if it's not Scott Brown, your gaffer, then why not Mark Wilson? But in particular, the way the football they've played so far this season has been really good. I'm sure it's really good for their fans to watch. It's difficult to play against. The pitches now don't suit the way they were playing before, which is why they've had to change a little bit, and I get that. But again, that's a pitch thing, that's not a Partick Thistle thing. And sure, good managers adapt and they change, and I'm sure he is doing that. And of course the Ayr United game was off, wasn't it, against St Johnstone again in the Challenge Trophy? Yes, 3 times in a row now, I believe. So it's been moved to Falkirk. So has it been moved? Yeah, well, I was going to say, because eventually you have to have a forfeit and move it. I think the rule is three times, and then you have to change it. So I think we're playing at Falkirk next Tuesday. Okay, and of course Aberdeen, Motherwell, I think it's been played on the 18th, isn't it? So that's next week as well. So because of course the draw for the Cup, Dunfermline against Aberdeen and Motherwell, Falkirk against Dundee United or the Spartans, Rangers against Celtic, and St Mirren against Partick Thistle. So they could both do a double. I was saying that last night, because Partick Thistle, if they win the title and if they win the Scottish Cup, and St Mirren, they've won the League Cup already. Right. Okay, they're not going to win the league title, but they could win St. John's, the Cup. St. Johnstone obviously did it a number of years ago. 2021, his favourite year of recent years. No, my favourite year, we lost the final. Oh, did you? Oh, yeah, of course, sorry. Yeah. No. I was thinking as a Rangers legend, of course, because that was when Rangers won The 55.
Yeah, I was on loan at Hibs that year, unfortunately. I say unfortunately, but
no, sure.
we unfortunately lost the cup final with St Johnstone.
James, there's another one for the bloopers tape at Christmas. It's like the other week I was like, I wonder who thought that it was a good idea to sell Adam Idah to Swansea, and then I'm thinking at that point, you get that moment, I think, oh wait a minute. So here's Darren O'Dea, who until weeks ago was the assistant manager at Swansea. He goes, yeah, well, it was my idea. So
my idea to buy him, not sell him.
No, indeed, it's a very different thing, you know.
So
of course,
I'm the genius behind it.
So we started this section. We'll go back to Danny Röhl shortly. Martin O'Neill, will there be a statue to Martin at Celtic?
I'll be honest with you. We're talking about if they go win the league. I think regardless. I think Martin is just one of these people that has affected the club, and it'll reverberate for decades and decades and decades to come. So I think if he was to win the league, that kind of chat will absolutely come up. But actually, if you had said this year didn't happen and Martin never came back, I still think that conversation would come up at some stage.
Stevie Clarke's been suggested as a manager for Celtic. It's come up a few times, the Scotland boss. Obviously, he's thinking totally about the World Cup. But yes, Stevie has been on with a comment. I think it's Steve saying Steve Clarke is the next Celtic manager.
No chance.
No.
I spoke before. There's two reasons. One, Celtic need to do a lot of work the day the season finished in terms of putting structure in place. Probably need someone, i.e. a manager, to be leading that in some way. And then the second thing is from Steve Clarke's point of view. By the way, just to be clear, though, I think Steve Clarke is capable. Absolutely. Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. I just don't think Steve Clarke has the appetite for the madness of Glasgow. That is my opinion when I listen to him. So I don't think he'll be the next Celtic manager.
I do remember you saying that. Jamie, would you be roughly of the same view?
Yeah, I think so. Again, do I think he's capable? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do I think we're good for Celtic? I think so, yeah. But again, there's personal reasons why people want to do things. Yeah. It is a lot. Obviously, I've never been a manager, and I've never been a manager of Rangers and Celtic, and I can only imagine what it is like having been a player. So he's at the age now. He's just took his country to a World Cup, Euros. Is there a lot more for him to achieve? Is that the pinnacle, taking your country to a World Cup? I'd say it's definitely up there. So motivation would come into it as well.
And I think he's got another outing in him, maybe in English football as well. He did a great job at West Brom, remember?
No, there's plenty of life left in him, and well, it's up to him what he wants to do next. He'll have loads of offers, I'd imagine. I just don't think Glasgow is the right fit for him.
Well, Danny Röhl has settled in well so far at Rangers. He's the manager of the month.
Yeah, great, of course. But it's all about my team, my coaches around me, and I'm honest. It's a small prize in one of the season where we want to have a bigger prize, hopefully at the end, and let's see what we can do. I think it shows that we made a lot of things right in the last couple of weeks, but not more. It's about the next game. This is tough tomorrow.
It's a huge game tonight, and they probably need to win it to keep that pressure on Hearts. Quick break, and then we're back. The team news is coming next.
The Football Show with Burger King.
Jamie, did you still get nervous before a game? What, an hour and a bit to go till kick-off? Is this, you're doing the warm-up, you're out there, well, not quite yet, an hour and 15 before kick-off. What's your routine like?
Oh, I like to get there early. I'm an early guy. I like to, obviously away games are different, but home games in particular, I'll get there early and do my routine early, get the gear on, bit of stretch, bit of warming up you need to do as you get older. I've done a bit more of that.
Is that what, hour and a half, 2 hours before the game, or
you
6 hours?
Report is an hour and a half.
Right.
I like to get there probably 30 to 45 minutes before that and get started on warming the old body up.
Good example to the young ones. Darren, what were you like pre-match? What was your routine?
Surprisingly, I needed to be alone. I hated the dressing room music, and that wasn't an age thing. I actually hated it throughout my career, and I didn't listen to any music, by the way. So I'd be always kind of sitting. Dundee was brilliant because Dundee had the little back room, which the kit woman, that's where she had all her stuff, and I would go in there and I'd sit and watch, I don't know, Soccer AM would be on or something, and complete silence, and just I wouldn't think of anything else until I went on to the actual warm up. So I hated the kind of the rush. around the dressing room, so I like to take myself out of it. Calm before the storm, I think that's the way I would describe myself.
The thing is, everyone is different.
It's different,
We have players that don't like getting their gear on until 10 minutes before you go out. There's players that want to be there early. There's players that want the music blaring. There's players that don't want any music. So you have you've all got to kind of agree what's going on, with what kind of music you want on. You want this on, you want that on. There's more that goes into it than people think.
Must be, and everyone's different. That's the thing, isn't it? I guess as you get older, more experienced, you like your own space. You know what you want to do.
Well, that's Jamie will definitely be at that point in his career where you know what you need. So I was talking about this actually today with someone. I don't know why I was talking about it, but like warming up for a game, I know now. The things I know now about my body, I couldn't actually get involved in a team warm-up. I wouldn't want to get involved in it. I'd be just like, leave me at it. I'll be ready when we get going. But the later in my career, I probably fell out with sports scientists telling me, you need to do this. Where I'm like, I've done 300 games here. I know what I need. You do get to this point. Like,
I played under Nigel Clough, and Nigel Clough would let you, if you wanted to sit in a bath before you went out to play, you could do that. If you wanted to do a part of the warm-up, you could do that. His whole thing was you be ready for the game the way you want to be ready for the game.
Yeah,
you liked working under him, didn't you?
Yeah, because the things like that, he gave you freedom and space to be yourself. I think that's what you want, is if you want to be yourself. Now, speaking of turning up late and being early games, Nigel Clough hated being early for games. So there was many a time where we would park the bus 10 minutes away from the stadium and walk the rest of the way if we were going to be early, because he didn't want us in there thinking about the game. He wanted us to get in, change, warm up.
I love you going to park the bus tonight at Celtic. Here is the Celtic lineup for the game. So Schmeichel in goals, of course, Araujo, Trusty, Scales and Sarachi. So that was your team, Darren, a few moments ago. McGregor, of course, the captain, Negron, the top scorer, and Engels. And up front, Maeda, Tunekti, Jvanchara. So he's playing both.
Spot on.
Yeah, well done.
So it seems right. The only one I threw in, it's more just an observation, is I just want to see Hatate add more to these last few games. But not surprised that's the team.
Sinisalo, the keeper. Adamu, the new signing, who scored with almost his first touch. I think it was.
Yeah,
it was barely a touch.
Yeah,
I think it was. Yeah,
incredible touch.
Adamu in there. McCowan, Oxlade Chamberlain is on the bench, so that'll be all over Sky tonight. They'll be watching for that one. Hatate. Arthur, who of course came in from Brentford,
back,
the young Virgil van Dijk. They'll hate if you keep saying that. Forrest, Donovan, and Tierney. There he is, who he took a real whack. There was no malice intended, but my goodness, that was a whack he really took.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
and Kieran's as tough a lad you'll get. So the fact that he's on the bench and Martin's, he's obviously a broken nose essentially. Fair play to him.
He is some. Remember, he got stitched up
in the cup final.
That's right.
Yeah.
Did you play in that one or
no?
You'd gone by then.
No.
I'm trying to talk you up here a wee bit.
They wouldn't have been lifting the cup if I was playing. That was the giveaway.
Not at all. Waiting for the Livy team. So Celtic. So you're going for Celtic tonight, Jamie. What do you expect?
Yeah, expect Celtic to win. Like, you can't see past them not winning the game. Livingston have not had a great year at all so far. Listen, I feel like Livy will go out and give everything they have, as they always do. I just don't think it'll be enough.
What do you make of Tynecastle then? A wide player, and he played a big role then in Celtic's Cup victory, the late show at the weekend.
You can see the quality he's got. I think Celtic fans probably want him to do it more consistently. Yeah. But you can see the quality he brings to the team. Crosses, taking on his man. Dan said earlier he's preferably on the left. But he's competing with a lot of players out there for position. Maeda obviously want to play out there. A few others, new signings. So he's got a lot to offer Celtic between now and the end of the year.
I think he's. I really do. I'm calling it a little bit probably prematurely. I think he's a huge upseason. I just don't think we've seen anywhere near the best of him. I've seen enough wingers. I think the last one in my head is Nicholas Cooney, and he came in and for the first probably year really we had a problem. Maybe 6 months. We had a problem with his tooth, and anyway, he looked so timid. And he looked petrified nearly at times to take people on and make mistakes. And Tynecastle reminds me of that a little bit until recently. And I think there's just, Jamie knows the position better than anyone. I think once you can loosen up He's brilliant at driving at people, and he's brilliant at eliminating people. He just doesn't then make a clinical action after that, whether it's a shot or a cross, and he'll invariably then take an extra touch or check back. I think once he starts getting an end product, he's going to hit a new level, I think, next season for Celtic.
Love the insight. It's great the insight you both can give us into some of these players. I just want to ask about Hatate. What's he like to... I mean, obviously, he's been here now, three and a half years. Yeah. Is English good? And does he... I know the interpreters around. Or I mean, you must get a relationship with him, but it must be different and difficult when you don't speak Japanese, he doesn't speak...
Oh, no, listen, the one thing Celtic did very well was when I say an infrastructure, there's obviously other Japanese players. There's part of the player liaison team. There's a Japanese interpreter, so naturally you make it as comfortable as possible. They do little things around the Lennoxtown to make sure that the different nationalities feel homely. I'm just talking that you don't need to give an insight into Tate. Everyone has seen him. He is produced at the highest level of Celtic in terms of Rangers games, European games, Champions League. He is a match winner, and he is so far from that at the minute. It's untrue. I'll be honest with you, that's, I'd say to Hatate himself, that's the reason why he's still at Celtic, and if he did want another move, that'll be the thing that'll stop him, because his ceiling is so high when he's at his best. It's a level that could play it really in any league in the world. You could come in another day and you see a completely different player. We're not seeing the top player anywhere near enough, and I think if Celtic, the reason I'm saying is Martin O'Neill clearly did something the first time. Sure. If he can somehow manage to do it again, him and his staff, you could like having a new player, because he's that good.
He sure is. We'll come back to the Celtic game. We'll get to you, the Livingston team, shortly. Don't have it yet. Do you want to know the St Mirren team for the game at Kilmarnock? It's a great game down there this evening. So here's St Mirren. George, of course, Jamal George in goals. Fraser, who's the captain at the moment. King, Freckleton, who did so well last week. Richardson, Phillips, Devaney, Gogic, John, Idowu and Mandron. So on the bench they've got Mullen, Sobowale, Tanzer, Donnelly, Campbell, McMenamin, Calvin, Etete and Lundaloo. So we'll give you the Killie team as soon as we get it. Hasn't landed just yet. So St Mirren team, Jamie, any thoughts on it there?
Just thinking there that obviously I've watched him a couple of times in the last couple of weeks. He's been on the telly. Devaney's been a really good find for them from Man United. Yeah. Obviously only on loan, but looks like a real good player. Good on the ball, energy. There wasn't a penalty against Hearts, but it broke forward to get Halkett sent off. I think he scored the other day as well. Just a good sign, a good January sign, which is hard to come by.
Sure is.
Do you know, it's funny because I've worked for a short time with Stephen Robinson, and and I actually think he said this, so I'm not feeling guilty giving an insight into this. I think he said it in his pre-match conference. His phrase is never ever sign a first-time loan signing. And in fairness, I think he referenced it but clearly he's the first time he's done it, he's managed clearly to pick up a good one, because I agree with Jamie. He looks like a really good player.
What's that one? Never sign a
first-time loan signing. And by the way, the kind of data behind that, there's a lot of sense behind that. You just going on your first-time loan, invariably it doesn't go particularly well, but the amount you learn and the experience you gain from it is invaluable. He doesn't want to be the manager that has to go through those, which is understandable.
Do you want the Killie team? Kel Roos, of course, in goals. Robbie Dees, Michael Spung Larson. Then they've got Brown, Lyons, Polworth, Watson getting back on form with so much promise. Greg Kiltie, of course. Finlay Curtis in from Rangers on loan. John Jules and Bruce Anderson, who had such a great chance, didn't he, against Rangers last week. But listen, strikers, nobody scores every time. So that's the Killie lineup, just looking at some of the players in there. Jamie, what do you think of that? Killie strong?
I think Killie will be looking to win that game.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was their last game at home, but the 3-0 win recently at home, they'll be wanting to do that again. Will it be more difficult than the last time? Probably. St Mirren are organised, defensively sound, but at Rugby Park, they need to win. Obviously, their home games, they need to win. They need to pick up points. If they lose that tonight, 6 points to Dundee. St Mirren 9 points.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot to ask between now and the end of the season. Can they do it? Yeah. Can they get out of it? Yeah. But it has to I'm going to say it's already started their comeback. I was going to say it has to start somewhere, but their last home game was a big win for
Aberdeen.
them.
Yeah,
Aberdeen, sorry, that's who it was. So if they can go out and win again tonight, they're starting to look at every home fixture thinking we can win that one.
Finlay Curtis could be a decisive signing for them. It could be a big one because I think everyone thinks a lot of that player, and of course Mikey Moore was playing in his kind of position and they were paying the money to Tottenham. What do you make of Finlay Curtis?
Yeah, good player. Again, I agree with him probably going out on loan. I think there's too much competition in that area of the pitch with Gassama, Moore, Asgard's played out there as well. So it's the most important thing for a young player is game time. If he can go out and play all the time, experience what's probably going to be a tough time for Kilmarnock, even if they do win tonight, they're still fighting it out in there. That experience will be great for him. Yeah,
because Kelly are on 17 points. Livy, as we know, in the bottom, they are on 11. Dundee on 23. St Mirren on 23. Brad Lyons, good player as well, the captain of Kelly. And tonight, for him, if they can get the win, then this would be huge for them to try and climb away from the bottom, second bottom.
Yeah, I mean, they win tonight. Not only are they've obviously had a massive win, they're going to drag St Mirren right back towards them, and it goes from the 6 point gap now at this state in play. Kilmarnock are 6 points behind St Mirren, but they obviously win. That goes down to 3, and all of a sudden then it's sweet St Mirren, Dundee play Falkirk tonight, but Kilmarnock and Livingston, to be fair, I think we can write off Livingston a little bit. But yeah, so it's kind of a double-edged sword that Kilmarnock can not only win, but to one of their nearest competitors put a real dent into them.
Rangers fans will give you the team in about 5 minutes. Remember, the Rangers game is at 8 tonight. Go Radio Football Show with Burger King. If you're just tuning in, the Celtic team is Schmeichel, Araujo, Trusty, Scales and Sarachi, McGregor, Negrin and Engels, Maeda, Tonekti and Chivanchara. And Darren had correctly, and Jamie agreed with that team just earlier on. Do you want the Dundee team for tonight's game at Falkirk? I mean, every one of the games tonight carries a real importance. So Dundee, who, I mean, they worked so hard, extra time the other night against Celtic, but they'll also, I think, maybe buoyed the fact that they did so well against the defending champions. But it's McCracken in goals, Astley, Wright, Murray, Halliday, Yogan, Congreve, who impressed, I think, everybody, Danda, Graham, Cotterill and Hamilton. Darren, what do you think of the team? How will they be, do you think, after 120 minutes against Celtic?
I think they'll be fine. I think those things, if you were doing them regularly, you can catch up on you. I think they'll have had it's a strange feeling to come out of Celtic Park. Not many teams that have lost will come out with the feeling of the pride that they'll probably have felt. It won't have felt it quite at the time, but when you walk away and then you analyse the game, they played really well. So they'll actually, in a roundabout way, take confidence from it. Falkirk are a similar team in terms of they'll try to play their own style. John McGlynn has done brilliantly well there. So I think Falkirk Dundee could be a really good game tonight. As you mentioned, Cammy Congreve, he's on loan from Swansea. He did kind of the best part of 8 weeks with us in the summer, and it's been a brilliant loan for him. On the other side of the coin, I don't know if he's starting tonight for Falkirk. Philip Lissa and Carell Wilson, went on loan there, and actually all the three Swansea boys are doing particularly well up in Scotland, which is great to see.
We'll give you that team, and we'll give you the Rangers team just after this short break.
Go Radio Football Show with Burger King.
All happening tonight after Hearts last night winning, and it was a huge moment when they got the late goal to beat Hibs.
But I certainly thought that we'd negated their threats a wee bit better, and then it's all about coming up with a moment, and we come up with a moment, and it's a brilliant desire for Harry Milne. That should be really highlighted, the quality of the cross and the desire from Magnuson to run off his marker and get in the box in such a calm finish. So from that point of view, we've deserved, because we've come up with a big moment to win the game. And it's great that in the context of the season, of course, another 3 points is vitally important, particularly in a game where it looked for long spells that we were only going to get the win.
Derek McInnes, of course, as Hearts go to 57 points. Jamie, I know you'll shout if you get the Rangers team first. You probably get it straight from the dressing room. Name names.
No, absolutely not.
Is that Danny Röhl there? Did I hear some German in the background?
Scrolling here to see if it comes up. But there you go. It's up 9 seconds ago.
You've got it now. Okay. Yep. What's the Rangers team?
Butland, Tavernier, Suter, Jigga's in there, McGoma's in, Chukwueze, Raskin, Diomande, Gassama, Moore, Chermiti.
Right, so Chermiti in there.
Couple of changes.
Indeed, yeah. Butland, Tavernier, Suter, Giga and Magoma. Shukwani, Raskan, Diomande, Gassama, Moore and Chermiti. On the bench, Kelly, Fernandez, Romans, Sterling, Asgard, Antman, Skov Olsen, Naderi and Miofsky. So we didn't get it all right, but it's not about that. What do you make of that lineup for tonight? What do you feel, guys?
Yeah, there's not a couple of surprises in it. I thought he would go with the three in midfield and Chukwuani, Raskin, Diamande. I think that makes sense. Chermiti coming back in, maybe he thinks he's better at pressing. Nadiri still getting used to the Scottish game. Moore in there. I mean, Moore's been excellent for Rangers. I feel like I would always kind of have Moore in my team, but I thought he would go with Skov Olsen again. But not a bad side. Again, Fernandez, unsure how fit he is. Jigger keeps his place.
Here's the Motherwell team. Callum Ward, of course, in goal. Stephen O'Donnell, Paul McGinn, the captain. Stephen Welsh, Emmanuel Longello, Lucas Fadinger, Elliot Watt, so he makes it. Callum Slattery, Elijah Just, Ibrahim Said, and Tawanda Masmarisi, the top scorer in Scotland. So that's the Motherwell lineup, Darren. So
yeah, it's a strong team.
It's strong, isn't
yeah,
it? Yeah.
Trying to think at the top of my head. There's not many. Yeah, you'd go say that's nearly their strongest team.
Yeah, and Elliot Watt.
At all points, yeah, he's a fantastic player. I like the boy Want as well. Slattery obviously grew up at Man United, and he's kind of had to find his way in his career. I think he's a really good footballer as well. So they've a lot of kind of technically good footballers, which matches the way the manager wants to play, and hence why they're getting such good result.
Crocs has tweeted already. Ian Crocker, what a brilliant commentator isn't he? He was on one of our programmes not that long ago with Glasgow 850, and I was lucky enough to work with him years ago in Birmingham when he first came on the radio. So he's there at Fair Park for commentary. Motherwell against Rangers live on Sky Sports. Any more than that, we'll have to charge him for the plug tonight. What do you think is going to happen? Is there anything here we want to hear from the managers? Motherwell, I mean, this is a huge game for them, and they've got a lot to play for. 43 points. If they win tonight, they're only 2 behind Celtic before Celtic play against Livy, so don't discount Motherwell, and I know that nobody is. And for Rangers, Danny Röhl building momentum with this team.
I think it's general now. We're in a part we have to deliver game by game, and it starts really tomorrow. It feels great at the moment that we have such a run, that we took a lot of wins, less conceded goals, we score goals, all these things that gives us a big belief and trust in what we are doing. But the season is still long, a lot of big games ahead, and for this it makes no sense to look too far away. But if we can continue our way, then yeah, there's a chance for more.
So, what do you think is going to happen tonight, Jamie?
I think Rangers will win the game. I don't say that lightly because I know how good Motherwell have been, how good they've been at home, their defensive record at home. But I think their defensive record is that good because of how good they are on the ball. They don't give it away lightly. So I expect Rangers to get after them, try win it back and score quickly. Whether that happens or not, I'm not sure, but I fancy Rangers to come out with a win.
What do you think, Darren?
I agree.
Yep.
I agree. I think Motherwell are a fantastic side. The job the manager has done has been exceptional. I just think Rangers are a different team than what they faced a couple of months ago, and I think they will go there. And I just feel the game nearly suits Rangers a little bit. I think they're at their best when they are. I don't mean trying to stop opposition, but they're creating chances through breaking an opposition down, and Motherwell clearly will try to build the game, and they won't change and come away from what they're doing. And I think that's where Rangers will get a lot of their success. And ultimately now, with the recruitment they've done and the players they have, I think they have the quality to be clinical enough when then their chances come. But listen, it's going to be a really, really difficult game, no doubt about it.
What scoreline do you feel?
2-1 Rangers, I'd say 2-1.
Robert's been on, he says 2-1 Rangers. He's a Rangers fan, he said, but look, we could go down. He thinks it might, they could go ahead, but Rangers will fight back. You can't overstate how important tonight is for Rangers, because Hearts are charging ahead now.
Yeah, they've got to keep on their coattails, they've got to win games. Rangers, it almost doesn't matter who Rangers are playing, it's just they have to win. They have to keep in touch with Hearts. There's a big game on Sunday to get ready for, but tonight's going to be tough. I mean, we could quite easily wake up tomorrow and Rangers have lost the game, and it wouldn't be too much of a surprise because we know how good Motherwell are. But again, I expect them to go out and get the job done.
Here's the Livy team for tonight, which has just come in. Muirhead, of course, is there. Yeah, so it's Pryor. We've got Pryor, Finlayson, McGowan, the veteran. He must be at veteran stage. He's been around for yeah.
I played with Gouser at Dundee, and I felt like we were both coming to the end of their career. Yeah. I called it a day, and it's 8 years on, and he's still going well.
He is. He's still playing well.
He wasn't on the same page as me anyway.
Although a tough season for him. And Kabongolo on the left. Brennett, Tate, Silla and Fatty. They've got Smith and McLennan and Robbie Muirhead. So that's the Livy team. Do you want the Falkirk team for tonight? Bain, of course, in goals. Adams, Donaldson, Nielsen and McCann. Spencer and Tate. Brogio, Marsh and Calvin Miller. And up front, I take it that will be Barney Stewart. There's no name on it, but I'm taking it. It must be.
I'm sure it will.
I would think
he's in a good vein of form, so you would think it's going to be happening.
It's, I think, a good guess on that one. So, yeah. So for that one, what do you reckon for Falkirk against Dundee? It's a hard one to call. What do you reckon?
Dundee have looked better, obviously, at the weekend over the last couple of weeks, but Falkirk at home's they're a top team. They're a top team anyway, but at home they're particularly good on the Astro. Ball moves quickly. They know what they're doing. They know how to play it. So I've went for 2-1 Falkirk.
2-1 Falkirk. What do you feel, Darren?
Yeah, I have a soft spot for Falkirk this year, and John McGlynn I just love what he's done with that club in general. Falkirk are a team I remember playing, and they were a Premier League team and a massive club, big following, and they just fell away for the last number of years. So it's great to see them back. I went and watched St Mirren Falkirk at St Mirren. I mean, their travelling support with Falkirk's incredible. And you kind of you forgot how big a club it was, and their home ground will be full as well, and they've got really good following. So anyway, I think with I agree with Jamie, with the players they have on the pitch. Dundee did play well. Dundee are capable of playing well, but I fancy Falkirk. I would say it'll be tight, 2-0 maybe Falkirk. 2-0,
so both of you are going for Celtic to beat Livy.
Yeah.
Dundee United Aberdeen is off because of the weather. Falkirk Dundee.
Yeah.
You're just going, yeah. Jamie, you're the same?
Yeah, Falkirk,
yep.
2-1.
Killie St Mirren, Jamie, what was your...
Again, 2-1s everywhere. I went 2-1, come on up.
2-1 Killie?
I'll actually go at one each.
One each, okay.
Yeah, I don't think either team will win.
And Motherwell Rangers, you're both going for Rangers. But both tight. You said 2-1, Darren.
Yeah.
Jamie?
Yeah, I wrote 2-1, but I'd love a high scoring game just because we're going to sit and watch it, and hopefully it's a good night of football.
3-2. 6-5.
3-2 either way, I don't mind whatever team wins it.
Listen, the Livy one, there's been a change on it here. So it's Pryor, Kerr, Pittman, Muirhead and May, Finlayson, Danso, Kabongolo, Tate, Wilson and Lowell. So that's the actual lineup there, which has come for Celtic against Livy. I wonder what the crowd will be, Darren. You'd be hoping tonight. Look, it's the end is in sight. I mean, Hearts have only got 12 games to go. I know Celtic 14 games, but they can't afford slip-ups. And with a couple of the new players, Chavanchara, who's played a couple, made the goal in the Hearts game, didn't he?
That's right, yeah.
And then scored last week.
Good header.
So for tonight. And Nygren as well. What a revelation and what a signing he's been for not a lot of money.
Yeah, I was kind of privy to a lot. I wasn't part of it, to be clear, but privy to a lot of the kind of work that got put into Nygren, and he's what you would call a unicorn. He was scoring, I think he got 16 goals for Midtjylland, which is obviously an excellent team. But there was, I won't go into it, but there was things contractually because of a previous deal done that you knew you could get him for, I think it was between 1.5-2 million. And you're looking at it going, really, he should be on the market for about 5. So it was a fantastic signing from Celtic. He's actually not a cult hero just yet. I think he frustrates a lot of people, maybe his retention of the ball and his use of the ball, and he ironically misses the target a little with chances, but he's relentless and he is elite in terms of his endurance to keep arriving at the right positions. He's Celtic top goal scorer, so he's had a brilliant first season.
Is he scoring tonight? What's your scoreline?
I think I'd fancy Celtic to be strong. I'll go 3-0, and I do think Nygren will score.
Jamie, scoreline there?
4-0 I've wrote down there. Tough night for them.
And for Rangers, so the manager's gone with Chermiti. He's put a lot of hope in him. So in the last 30 seconds or so, because you've got Nadiri there standing by to come on. So you'd like it to work for Chermiti?
Yeah, I'm sure Rangers fans would. It's a lot of money to spend, but they've got good options up there now. If you're talking, Chermiti's not playing, Nadiri's on the bench, Majovski, if you want to go 2 up front, they've got that option as well. Asgard not in the team, got quality if you can bring him on. Scott Olsen on the bench. So you're looking at Rangers' squad now and thinking that could be a good side.
It's going to be some game tonight. I'll let you get home to enjoy it. Jamie, thank you so much. Darren
Thank you.
as well, thank you. Back tomorrow night. Charlie Mulgrew will be here, and also Mark Guidi. Thanks for watching and listening tonight. We're back tomorrow at 5.